Welcome to the Career Wanderlust podcast, your compass for new career horizons. Today, we are talking with Janel Steinberg. Janelle is an award winning public relations professional with extensive experience across a wide variety of industries, everything from tech and consumer to food and beverage and hospitality. She has worked with companies ranging from Nestle, PayPal, and Rolls Royce to Oracle, Virgin America, and the House of Blues. Having held senior level roles with the likes of MSL Group and Ogilvy, Janelle is currently the vice president and head of the U.S. office for Liberty Communications. I'm really excited to learn more. Janelle, thank you for joining us on the Career Wanderlust podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Oh, I think it's going to be great. I would love to hear from you what you feel has been some of your favorite career advice and why.
I think for me, the power of yes is something that's important.
Tell me more about this. This is
Okay.
powerful. Yes.
So, yes gives you opportunities that you maybe wouldn't have wanted to take on before, you wouldn't have been open to, and it opens new doors. So, whether it's a recruiter calling you out of the blue, even though you're not interested in a job, whether it's an extra assignment at work, whether it's staffing an event in place to help somebody else out, I think it's always a learning experience. It forms new connections and you never know what it's gonna lead to. So,
Mhm. Absolutely. This is actually a reoccurring theme in people who are living the most successful, fulfilled lives is this, the power of yes. Because they say yes to things, even when they're not ready, even when they're not prepared or what have you, and they think, that imposter syndrome might come up. They'll say yes for the experience because that's how you get experience, right? Is by doing these things. And so often I think a lot of us will say no almost as I don't know, like the no just comes, because of so many different reasons, in your head. You have all these different reasons for the no. And so it just comes so easily. But if you are proactive, like you said, the power of the yes, and you hold on to that and you move forward with that, you actually push yourself forward in amazing ways. This is what I found by talking to people who are just living their best lives. So, really good advice.
yeah.
How have you used this for yourself? How has it benefited you?
For instance, if I've taken on an extra assignment at work, I've learned new things, I've got to meet people. Earlier on in my career, I staffed events in LA for our New York offices, and I
Mhm.
got to meet really cool people doing it. I made new connections, I got new learning experiences, all things that I could move forward with in my career and that were fun.
Right.
And, maybe like you were saying at the time, there's so many reasons why you might say no, right? You can think of anything, any number of excuses.
Yeah.
But when you do say yes, w- it opens up endless possibilities.
Yeah, it really does. That's gonna stick with me. It's a good reminder. We all need to be a lot of people are not thinking about this, but the ones who have thought about it, we forget. Sometimes too.
Yeah. New Year's resolution.
Yeah. So what about a personal story that you've had? I mean, an impactful lesson or event that you've had in your own work experience. What's happened to you? What did you learn from it?
Well, with a former client, for instance, I pitched a media story for example, obviously because I'm in PR, and I wasn't sure that it was going to fly at all. And then I kind of backed away from it, and my boss kind of said, "Hey, there's another similar story to the one that you pitched a couple of weeks ago." So I went straight back to that reporter, and it ended up having the reporter fly to Europe to do a sit down with all the C-level executives. And then that led to an unveiling at the Detroit Auto Show and a piece on the Today Show, all because I said, yes, I'm going to pitch this guy and see what happens.
That's fantastic. And what do you feel other people should take away from this?
Well, let's say if your boss asks you to do something, right?
Yeah.
Say, maybe sit down ahead of them if you have reservations about it, whether it's from a time constraint or how do you approach this or what would happen if you're in the situation. And I'm a big believer in coming to your boss or in any situation, maybe with some solutions versus saying, I don't necessarily understand how to do this. And so
Mhm.
run those potential solutions and your concerns past your boss, discuss it. And that way, that'll take some of the stress away from you and give you some guidelines as to how you can approach that problem.
Really good advice. And then you have your outline for what to do next time.
Yeah. And you have your boss who, is hopefully advocating for you while you're going through this process. And as a boss for my team right now, I want to be open and available to answer any
Right.
questions, talk through problems. So hopefully anybody who's watching this podcast has bosses that are similar like that or somebody
Right.
who can kind of play that role for them.
Exactly. That's how you move up the ranks in the very best way possible, having someone who's willing to work with you on all of those aspects. So, I love that. What do you think is most important in a manager? Just out of curiosity that on that topic.
Well, I learned this early because, we all have certain ways that we like to be managed.
Okay.
So the first place that you're probably going to come from is the way you like to be managed. But that's not the most effective. You need to manage people for the way they want to be managed.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so simple. So
Yeah.
simple, but that perspective twist right there, that's everything, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Because
Yes.
there are some things, where somebody that I worked with, they wanted a lot of pressure on themselves to deliver media hits. And for a lot of people, that might not work, but that
Mhm.
worked for him. And he delivered results every time because that's the way he did it. Other
Right.
people are very unsure about things, want to sit down, want to have a lot of hand holding. Other people don't want to be managed, like they just want to talk to you at the beginning and then at the end, so it all depends what
Yes.
somebody likes, and it isn't up to you, it's up to them.
So good. So do you ask your employees how they like to be managed? Is that how you do it?
Sometimes, but also sometimes I know their style.
Right, you
I
can tell.
know it through
Yeah.
experience, I know what works for them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
usually when somebody is new, it helps, right? Because
Mhm.
hopefully they know a little bit about themselves, and if they don't, then you can also discover that over time.
Exactly. Oh, it's incredibly valuable. I love this piece of advice. So now, what about Liberty Communications? Can you tell us more about Liberty? What do you guys do well, and what do you look for in your talent?
Well, we're a boutique tech agency and we have offices in the UK and the US. So we get to work on a lot of global clients. We're a
Mhm.
small team that's been around for more than 25 years. So we get to work with really innovative technologies, but yet some of the more established companies as well. Because we are a smaller team, small but mighty, we need people who are not as concerned about this is my title and this is what I must do at this title. Like
Right.
we all need to pull in at different levels, make it a real team effort and nobody who could be too proud to do something at any level.
Mhm.
So big team player and then getting that global experience at a small agency like ours, I think is very invaluable. And
Definitely.
especially for the junior people, they're getting to really step in and do things that they would never get to do at some of the bigger
Mhm.
places.
No, that's exciting, and it is unique, definitely. So, is there anything that you've read or watched or listened to that had a positive impact on your life or your career, and you think it would benefit other people to either listen or watch or read?
Well, for that, I would say that when I'm done with work, I kind of like to be done with work because I work long hours. So I have read biographies of, executives and I watch a lot of webinars and things like that to get those type of things,
Mhm.
the type of information that I would like. So sad to say I can't really
Well, is there anything you
uh,
really enjoy that helps turn things off for you?
oh, there are way too many TV shows and movies, restaurants to name, and travel adventures to plan.
Right there with you. Right there with you.
Yeah. But
Oh, well,
but
this
one
is
thing one thing that
okay.
I do think is important now is
Yeah.
that and it's important at Liberty too, which is why I wanted to join the company, I think also leading with kindness is
Oh, yeah.
important, right? Like trying
Mhm.
to see everybody's point of view. You never know where what somebody is dealing with in their personal life and how that might impact them at work, like what their challenges might be. I even see it a lot just in our day-to-day lives, or maybe if you've seen some of the crazy footage of, airplane encounters or something like
Yeah.
that. People are dealing with a lot, right? So I
Yes.
think just trying to lead with kindness because it doesn't take any more effort.
Mm-mm. No, it doesn't. And really being a leader that is caring and compassionate and curious about their staff and
Mhm.
employees, those are
Yeah.
the leaders that inspire and retain their employees and the best talent around. I can say this hands down. It is very difficult to leave a great leader when you have one.
Yes, exactly. And,
Mhm.
you bringing up curiosity is something that I also think is very important because I think to be successful at your job, you need to have curiosity about it, right? So, as somebody who's in public relation, I consume a lot of media, right? I'm always
Mhm.
watching different media outlets, seeing the way reporters write, understanding what's going on in the world. Why is that being covered or what kind of angles are they
Right.
taking? So I think
Mhm.
in general, just a sense of curiosity about it. Because if you're just doing job, where you're checking the box and like the clock hits 5 and you're out. Maybe some jobs are like that, but at least in public relations or marketing, it's not like that. So I think having that extra curiosity is very beneficial to
Mhm.
a job in PR.
Yeah. Definitely. And that's really interesting you bringing up just the different things that you consume, and it just makes me think about people in this profession, how interesting it is for them to consume the other content and see the different ways that people are doing and probably be like, "Ooh, that wasn't a very good idea. You might have you might have wanted a different strategy on that one." Gotta
I
be
see
in
it a lot with, I was going to say, I see it a lot with crisis communications.
I can't
Yeah.
I just I bet that's really interesting just as a professional to to watch out in the world. So,
Yeah.
well, Janelle, thank you so much. This has been great. But before you go, I'd love to ask you one final question, a little bonus question, if you will. What would you say is your personal superpower and how has it helped you in life?
Well, I don't know if I would necessarily call it a superpower, but I like to find humor in things, right? So whether I'm approaching a new situation or meeting a new person or even dealing with tough situations, I always like to find some humor in it because
I
I
love
think
it.
laughter helps relieve tension. It helps us deal with situations better.
Absolutely.
And, who doesn't want a good laugh?
Oh, completely. Laughter truly is the best medicine. It's proven. Not only do I believe it, but it's proven. And, I completely agree. I mean, you're gonna go through life and you get to choose how you're gonna go through life, so you might as well choose to try to find the humor at any point in time. I think that's beautiful. Thank you.
Sure.
So, I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you for coming out on the Career Wanderlust podcast.
Thank you. It's great talking to you.
Thank you for joining us on the Career Wanderlust podcast. If you find value in learning from others, give us a like and subscribe. If you're looking to grow your communications, marketing, public relations, or sales and biz dev team with the best talent and quickly, check us out at paradigmstaffing.com and submit a request. We are wishing you a most successful and fulfilling career. Until next time.